ending to, or great start, ending to a beautiful song, but a great start to our evening. Welcome to Holidays Unwrapped. My name is Mary Beth Lima. I am a family and consumer sciences extension agent in Blount County. We also have Sarah Vaden, the Family and Consumer Science Extension Agent in Sevier County. Say hi, Sarah.
No, Jefferson County.
Jefferson County. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was giggling because I didn't know if I was going to continue to use Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Agent because it's a mouthful. So our counterpart, Linda Hyder, she's in Sevier County and she's waving. So all of us are going to get an opportunity over the next 2 days to talk and discuss all things holidays, but more specifically, things that you can use in your home and now, especially during our time of our pandemic. So a couple of housekeeping. First is I want everyone to go ahead and give a hello in the chat box. Some of you may never have used a chat box or have been on Zoom before, so we want to make sure everyone knows how to use the chat box. At the bottom of your screen, now if some of you are on an iPad, it may be at the top. I see Victoria's already said hello, hello. You go ahead and click on the chat. Is it Kaylee or Callie? Kaylee? She said hello as well. And we've got Jan and one more person figuring out how to use the chat box. Hello, Sherry, how are you? And one more, Jan. Jan, are you trying to say something?
My video won't work.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Oh,
my audio works.
Good, good.
At least unable to detect the camera.
Okay. Okay. Do you see somewhere on your screen a chat?
I see you.
Oh.
I see Linda.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to just ask. For all of you, while we're going through this, if you have any questions throughout, go ahead and write in the chat box your question. And when we have an opportunity, we'll definitely answer all your questions tonight. So tonight we're going to start off with talking about virtual gatherings, and then we will end with some nutrition tips. And tomorrow we're going to discuss, Linda, did you have a question or a comment?
Thursday, not tomorrow night.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thursday, we will be focusing on our budget during the holidays. And we will also be talking about finding gifts throughout our home and perhaps ways to save, but also giving gifts from the heart. So that's our program, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Sarah or Linda, do you have any comments to add?
Nope. Just glad people are here. Yeah. And Victoria wins the contest for the fancy hat. So.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Oh, I do too. I just saw that. Yeah, I'm glad she's joining us again too.
Yay.
Okay. Go ahead and share my screen.
I have to dig through all my Christmas stuff to find my Christmas hat for Thursday, my Santa hat.
You did well.
This one happened to be on top.
All right. So, do you see in front of you virtual family gathering?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And if I go like this, does it change to COVID impact?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Like we said, tonight, we're going to start off by talking about virtual family gatherings in our new state. Some people have been using Zoom, and welcome if any of you have never used it before. Our new society that we have now that hopefully will not be permanent, we are having to increase our virtual use to protect ourselves from COVID. And with that segue, I did want to point out that when you are on virtual, sometimes you'll have people in the background. If you've ever seen the meme of what kind of Zoomer are you, I'm the one who has random people in the background, and I see some of you too. My children will be coming home from basketball in about 10 minutes, but they are very well aware that I'm teaching a class. So you may see them in the background a little bit, but I just wanted to warn you ahead of time. So anyway, going back to virtual family gatherings, it's a way to stay connected during social distancing. We have been impacted in COVID. Our cases, specifically in Tennessee, are rising, and we want to protect specifically those that are immune compromised and our older age group as well. So we want to protect everyone and make sure that they're staying safe. But what does that mean for our holidays? Even state to state travel, we want to be cautious about. Our highest risk for getting COVID is being a super spreader, unfortunately, at family gatherings. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, we've got our holidays coming up, and we want to be with our family. And people will say, oh, well, you know, we're just family, you know, we'll get together, it's okay. Particularly people who don't get a chance to see their family throughout their year, this is their time. This is their time to see those people. And so we have to move forward and make a decision as a family of, are we going to take that risk or not? And so this is a fantastic alternative if you decide that maybe it is time to do a social virtual gathering. So you still get to see everyone, but are not particularly a spreader or super spreader, not taking that chance. So we may not be able to have the Christmas of the past, but we can still make some great memories by thinking outside the box. So the first thing that needs to happen amongst your family is find out who's tech savvy. You know, there's always at least one in your family that is tech savvy, and it may be you, seeing as you're on Zoom today. But find someone who is tech savvy versus people who are not so much. And we want to protect those people who are not used to getting on the internet or getting into a Zoom conference. And we don't want to overwhelm those people. And so the first thing we want to do is find out those people who are willing to help and assist on the tech side so that we can make it easy and fun for everyone. The first step in creating a virtual gathering is figuring out how as a family are you going to communicate. There are benefits to group emails as well as texting, but there are also not so good things about group emails and texting. So as a family, you'll need to decide. It is really fun to be in a group text. For those of you who have been in a group text, you may have noticed in about 3 minutes, you may get 58 text messages, many of which are emojis or someone putting the question mark. So it can be sometimes taxing if we're on a group text. So you may want to lay some ground rules out. I particularly, you're going to actually hear, my family lives all over the United States. We are represented in 18 different states, all of my first cousins, aunts and uncles and grandparents. And we've been doing virtual gatherings for about 10 years now. So you'll be hearing some of those experiences that you guys can take and use. And one of the things about text messages is I will typically use text messaging to reach out to people. I will put information out there, but I will put a small note, please do not respond to this group message. That helps get information out, but also prevents people from getting 20,000 text messages. Although I do have to say there is an occasion where people don't necessarily read that bottom line and they'll still respond, and people have been very respectful about it. 1 or 2 oopses are better than 58. So that has been a pretty easy way of communicating with people. A group email also works very well too. People can see it when it's convenient for them. The problem with emails is it can get lost. And people change their emails often. So again, those are some pros and cons to deciding how to communicate with your family. And I'm not just talking about necessarily your children or your nieces or your nephews. I'm talking about, it could be a large family or a small gathering. But figure out how to communicate. Whenever you do communicate, keep it upbeat, exciting. We want to try to keep family business to a minimum and just bring in the positive. So what if there is a large family? There are a lot of you. There are some tools that you can use. Now, I will be, or Sarah Vaden, who you received the email for this link today, she will be sending out to you this PowerPoint. Because I am using some personal information, although I have permission from all the people that I'm taking pictures from today, I will be removing those pictures when she sends this PowerPoint out to you. But if there is anything current that you are interested in, you're welcome to take a snapshot with your phone, any of the information here. But like I said, that you will get a copy of the PowerPoint minus the photos. So the next question is, how do we gain that information? If you have a family of 40, how do you get 40 emails? How do you get all that information? And so Google Forms, Google Excel, and Google Doc are incredible programs that you can use and share, and they can be very easy to use. We use Google Forms when we wanted to know everyone's birthday. There were years we weren't aware of. And so Google Forms is a great way that you can provide a link and gain addresses. You can get phone numbers, emails. You can do a poll even. You can say, how would you prefer to be contacted? Is it email? Is it text messaging? So forms are fantastic and easy to use. And then Excel and Docs are another great way to really learn about other people and add stories and information. So I'm going to go over Google Docs if people are interested at the end of this course today or the program today. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. Not everybody here may have Google Forms or Excel or Doc. And so if anybody is interested, I can provide more information towards the end of the program. Okay, once you've decided what form of communication, whether email or text messages, another thing that you can do to keep people in the know. Let's just say you are gathering, but there's going to be a smaller amount of you. So some people may come, but some people may not. Or there may be 3 or 4 houses that get together and have a celebration. One of the greatest tools that you can use is Facebook or Instagram. So you can create a family Facebook page. Some people love Facebook, others not so much. You do want to make sure that you have only 1 or 2 admins, because keeping it very private is very important. You always need to make sure that you are asking for permission before posting, and you want to make sure that you keep the site private. So you should not keep it public. It's not out there for anybody to see but your family. And for my family, we are very strict about this. I even have some very, very close friends that have grown up with us that we may have hurt their feelings, but unfortunately we have said that this is strictly for the family. So I also have some family members who are not on Facebook, but they have created Facebook pages. In fact, one of them created a fake Facebook account that they used the name of our great grandfather, and they actually found a picture of him and used it as the profile. so everybody in the family knows who he is, or who she is actually. But that's a great way for people who, for their jobs, are not allowed Facebook, or for whatever reason they want privacy. That's a recommendation that you can use when it comes to Facebook. It is a fantastic tool to really get information out there to your family. I'm going to go ahead and show you some examples. So this is our family website, and I do have permission from them to share some of the pictures. This was 2 summers ago. We were celebrating America, and so you can put up a picture, and then it's just a great tool to get in touch. One of the things we did do right when COVID started, you can see March 23rd, there was a big problem. We were scared. We were nervous across the United States. So we did a Zoom meeting, and some people couldn't make it. So I went ahead and took a picture of us and those that could make it and posted it on our Facebook site. It was a great way for other people to see that weren't there that night. It's also a great way to get information out if you were to have a reunion or a big party. You can put invitations on there, and it's a great tool to just really communicate with your family. So I'm going to stop here because I've talked about quite a few technological pieces. Does anybody have any questions so far?
I'm
I
just
don't know
curious.
how, I typed in never, and then I never saw how to send it to you. I never saw a send come up. I haven't ever used the Google Excel
Okay.
or Doc,
After
but
you
I didn't see how to send you that I had never, I typed it in.
Did you
I hit
write
enter.
in the chat? Because if you can write in the chat, you just have to push enter.
Push what?
Enter.
I did.
Oh, I think the question came up. Was that her?
No, hers did not come up.
Oh, okay.
Victoria's
Her
not
name,
the only one that
I
answered.
just sent her name to you. That's Jan Lapise. Hey, Jan.
Hi, Linda.
I'm glad you're joining us.
Me too. I'm learning a little bit every time.
Okay, that's the way we all are.
But I hit chat.
Huh.
I'll do it again. I hit chat and I typed in, it says to everyone,
Right.
typed in never, but there's no send
Okay,
here for me.
hit enter, the button enter.
I did, but I'll do it again.
That's odd.
Yeah, okay. It's not, well, Ira came over and he couldn't get it to work either. So, okay, move on.
Sorry.
Move on. That's fine.
Yeah, if you're interested at the end, we can fiddle around with it a little bit and see
Good.
how we can get it, because it's a
Yeah.
great tool to use.
I appreciate that. Okay. I'm going to put on mute so I don't embarrass myself again.
Okay.
Hey,
Are there any other questions?
all the same boat. There are none in the chat box that I see at this time.
Okay, great. So we talked about Facebook, keeping people in the know, and I'm going to reference Facebook a little bit, a couple more times. But the next one is Marco Polo. You want to be careful with Marco Polo because they just transferred, and it's some features are premium and you now have to pay for it. So you don't want to pay for anything. But Marco Polo is a great app because one of the problems with technology, particularly smartphones, is that Samsung droids don't mix with Apple. And so Apple may have FaceTime, but the Samsung does not. And so we try to find apps that everybody can use. And so Marco Polo is really fun. You can get a whole group going. It's considered a chat video. And so it's like a group text, but they're videos. I love Marco Polo because when I'm out and about and I see something or something fun is happening, I can record on the group chat, but people can see it later. They don't have to see it right now. They can see it anytime they want. So I think it's fantastic. We use this during Thanksgiving with my family to show the preparations in the kitchen across the United States. And that's really fun. We'll show like, someone will be up at 6 a.m. putting the, 25-pound turkey in the oven. And then, the next one, someone will be making the, I call it stuffing. You can tell where I'm from. I know you call it dressing. Some people will be making dressing and all throughout the day. And then, the final piece that people will share is the table, the table of all the food and the gathering of the people. And that's kind of fun to just see the beginning to the end. And we just guess what's for dinner. We'll even take pictures of really yummy food and eating them in hopes to get people's taste buds going. And so it's a really, really fun app to use. And I encourage you to use that if for, keeping people excited with the family. WhatsApp is another app that you can use that is similar to FaceTime. And you can do group chats on it as well, group videos, but it's all live. But it's similar to FaceTime, but it can be used on any device. So I like that one too.
So now I have a question. Marco Polo, everybody takes videos all day long, like say for Thanksgiving, and then everybody sits down and watches it as a group?
You can watch it anytime. It's just like a text message. It's just like a text message. So you can look at it anytime you want.
Oh, okay.
And then some people can respond. You can respond in real time, kind of like walkie-talkies. Or if, you're busy, finishing your pumpkin pie and you don't have time, you can look at it later.
Okay.
Yes. Good question. Okay, so those are some apps that you can use in real time and use just right now. But let's say you want to plan a big event, a big virtual gathering. You've already decided how you're going to communicate and give that information out. So the first thing you're going to want to do is prepare for it. Build them up, get them excited, whether you're using emails or you're going to use text messaging or you're going to use your family Facebook site. Build them up, get them excited. Maybe send a save the date. Maybe show the angel on top of your Christmas tree and say, save the date. Get them excited. The next week, you may send your favorite Christmas dessert and say, what's for your dessert? And get them excited with weekly updates. Get an invitation together. You can use Google Forms as an easy invitation to see who's going to come and who can't come. You can also use Google Forms to see when people are available. My family, we're working all across the United States. I really thought that a Sunday afternoon after church would be a fantastic time. Turns out not so much. It was actually a Friday evening that worked for everybody. So definitely getting kind of a poll of when people can meet. And give out challenges. I'm going to go into challenges a little bit more, but they're quite a lot of fun. It's kind of like building up for those 12 days of Christmas. So let's go over some Zoom 101s. Number one is you need to choose a moderator. You need to choose that queen or king bee that's going to be in charge of moderation. Because as you can tell very quickly, 3 or 4 people can talk all at once. So that moderator should be familiar with Zoom, understand how to use it, be able to help with technical difficulties, be able to monitor the chat box. You may want to bring on a wingman to help with those technical difficulties or chat box. When you're working with large amount of people on Zoom, everybody wants to talk at once, especially if it's your family and it's later at night. They all want to talk and chat. So the moderator helps with that and helps keep everybody muted and just, getting people to one at a time talk. And then eventually people get into the swing of things and it works. But definitely choosing that king or queen bee. Like I said, you want to do a poll about picking the date. Now I am going to talk about not just the holidays. Of course, we're talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas time and, maybe New Year's, you want to do a big New Year's celebration online. But you can also do this throughout your year. I'm going to show an example in a minute. We surprised my aunt, my great aunt. She has 14 nieces and nephews and 23 great nieces and nephews. And she basically raised us all. And we gave her a 60th birthday surprise Zoom. And they were able to cast the Zoom meeting on a big screen TV. So she saw 55 pictures like the Brady Bunch on a big giant screen TV, and everybody saying happy birthday. So it was really spectacular. So these are just some different ideas in the future that you can do. You may want to have a theme for your Zoom meeting. You may say everyone come in their, adorn their Christmas cheer. You may say everyone bring their reindeer hats, or you may want to have dinner together. Get your plate, sit in front and have your beautiful dinner. Or maybe you guys can do dessert and coffee together. Or of course, bring your own beverage. These are things to make it a little more festive and fun together, even though it is over a camera and a computer. But definitely you can do themes. I do suggest that you offer your beginning Zoomers getting on 30 minutes early. However, I want to stress, and this is per experience, for our family, we planned a 7 o'clock event. I said, for those who have never been on Zoom before, get on 30 minutes early. Our entire family got on 30 minutes early. It didn't work out for a surprise because everyone was chatting away and she missed out on the chatting. So definitely emphasize, please do not get on any earlier, only if you need some technical assistance. And that gives people more confidence for those who've never used Zoom before. And always make sure you record, because those that were not able to make it are able to watch it. Just like my aunt, she wasn't able to watch those 30 minutes, but they recorded it. So she was able to go back on and see for later. So that's just a fantastic time. So you're going to get a copy of this. This is just a sample of the announcement. I'm not really going to go into details about it, but just you'll have a sample. This particular one was that surprise birthday, but I think it's really important because there's some key details. And like I said, you're going to get a copy of this. If you want to take a picture of it, you can. I'm not going to go over every word for word, but it's just some key tips that you can copy in an email or put on Facebook, so you let people know and understand how to do things that evening. It does say when she walks in there to sing happy birthday, please be advised that Zoom is on a delay. So when everybody sings at one time, it's delayed. So it sounds not so nice at all. So it's still fun to do, but just be advised that it's not going to be, the most beautiful thing you hear in the world. All right. I'll pause here. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, we do. We've got somebody that wants to know how you, after you've recorded them, how can you send those, or can people just get on the link and hear them?
Okay, so after you record, it will upload to Zoom, and you'll be able to go through Zoom and get a link, and that link you'll send out to emails. Sarah, am I explaining that correctly? Have you uploaded it before?
I have not uploaded, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yay, Jan just came across with the word
Yay,
never.
Jan, you got a message.
Yeah.
Jan learned something.
I love it. So yeah, Zoom will give you a link.
So they'll give me personally a link, and then I'll send it out to all of you all.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It will give, after when you say stop recording, it will give you an option. Do you want to save it to Zoom, or do you want to save it to your computer? You can choose either or. Just remember where you save it in your computer.
Okay.
If you choose your computer, and then you can go find it and upload it in an email.
Okay.
Or you can post it on your Facebook site. I would only post things on your Facebook site if your Facebook site is private. If it's public, you don't want to post much on there, like a Zoom link. You don't want people bombing you. Any other questions? My earrings are bells and I keep thinking that you hear them. Do you hear them? No? Okay, good. I wasn't sure if there were, oh, you have some too. I love it, I love it. All right, let's resume. So what are some things that you can do during your Zoom call other than just chatting, which is fun too, but there are some things you can do. The first is you can prepare a slideshow. Now, I would not recommend you being the person that puts together the slideshow unless you have a lot of time, because you also have all the other things that you have to do. But if there is someone out there that is willing to put together and knows how to do a slideshow, encourage in your communication for people to send pictures to that person and give a due date so that they can put the slideshow together. And then when they share their screen, they can actually show and everyone can see a great slideshow. So that's really, really a fun thing to do during a Zoom call. Another thing that you can do is put together some Christmas caroling. Again, remember that it won't be it will be delayed, and you're welcome to mute everyone if you want or leave it open. But all you have to do is go to YouTube and share your screen, and you can find tons of Christmas sing-alongs, and they can actually even see the words, and you'll have the music in the background. That is fantastic to do. Christmas caroling is so much fun.
Excuse me, that's what you did prior to our program tonight, for those that were
Yes.
listening.
I found a 3-hour Christmas music instrumental playlist and I had put it on my screen.
Did you have to do anything special for the audio with that, or did you just share the screen and play it out of your computer?
So when you push share on your Zoom, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little box that says share. Actually, I can't remember exactly the words. Let me stop share real quick. It will say share computer sound. And you need to make sure that that little box is checked.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you want to make sure you test it. I always usually get a friend or another family member that's tech savvy and just make sure it works. Now, if you want to play a game, something that's really, really fun is, and people can do it on their phones, is guess that theme music. And I'll do it on my phone right now. So you guys are going to guess this theme show music. And actually, if you click on participants down on the bottom, and if you're on an iPad or a phone, it might be up at the top, and you find your name, you should be able to see something that raises your hand. Go ahead and raise your hand. That's a tool you can use. So go ahead and raise your hand.
Do we click on our picture?
Should be under participants. Now I'm sharing my screen. So Victoria, if you could guide anybody in how you did it. If you don't mind. Oh, Linda figured it out.
Yeah, so when you pull up participants, it'll kind of bring up a box of you can see everybody's names. And then down at the bottom, you have options. It says like raise hand. You can say yes, you can say no. If you're on a phone, it might be a little different, but on a computer, that's how you see it.
Thank you. Oh,
I don't see the hand. I see yes, no, go slower, go faster, and more.
So it's a little blue hand. It's a little blue hand in a circle.
it's right next to your yes and no.
Yeah, it should be right next to yes and no.
I'm special. No. Sorry.
Someone just told me to go a little slower. Go a
Oh,
little
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I'm just playing.
Yeah, that's what this is for tonight. So that's something that you can use if you're playing this game, but here we go. So you're gonna guess this theme song after my commercial. Hold on, there's a commercial.
So go ahead and you want us to take our hands down?
Yeah, you can take your hands down.
So click the hand again and it should disappear, your hand on the screen, not your real hand.
All right, you ready? Here it goes. If you know what it is,
Are we raising our hand?
raise your hand.
Yes, if you know it.
Victoria knows. Anyone else?
If
Anyone else
you know it, raise your hand.
Oh, somebody might have said it in the chat.
Should have gone up.
All right, so that is a fun game you can play. So what was it? What was the theme song?
Mayberry, Andy Griffin.
Andy Griffith Show.
Yes. So we played that for hours, actually. We've even gone into television shows, you know. So that's a fun game that you could play on with your family on Zoom. And typically the rule is whoever guesses it, they're the next ones to go if they have access to YouTube. So yeah, fun little things you can do. I encourage you, you can dress up, funny little hats. You can tell everyone to wear a Santa hat or an elf hat or, you know, elf ears. It just brings more festivity to it. So I had talked about family challenges. And so throughout the years, I told you we've been doing this about 10 years. My family, every year we do a holiday challenge. It's kind of like our holiday Christmas photo. And we usually put it out about Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving. And then people, you know, roll up their sleeves and start getting creative on whatever that challenge is. So this is something you can share on Zoom, or you can share on your Facebook site, Instagram, or any of the other sites that I was telling you. You could even share it through email, although it might be a little difficult to do that. So one of our family challenges was Elf on the Shelf. And so we told everybody that this year's photo is Elf on the Shelf. You'll see my kids in the upper left-hand corner playing with ginormous Christmas cards, playing cards and Elf there. Of course, we have two little kids, a couple little ones actually on the shelves. And then there was one flying on an airplane, two little elves. So people can be, those are our family photos, and people can be really creative. Another year we did headstands. Okay, and as you can see, those who are headstand challenged. I like the guy who is on the stairs. My aunt, they actually had her stand on a chair. So they actually just flipped the picture upside down. So it looks like she's doing a headstand. So that's something fun and different and creative. One year, somebody sent every family member moose hats. So we did a moose hat challenge for our family photo. My favorite is the moose caught in headlights in the middle. And then another year, so Mr. Entenmann's, I don't know if you're familiar with Entenmann's Donuts, but Mr. Entenmann's lived near my family, my parents' family and my grandparents. And there was a factory outlet and we did not have a lot of money. So anytime there was a family gathering growing up, you never showed up without having a box of Entenmann's in your hand. So all of us kids who are now grown adults remember the Entenmann's coffee cake and chocolate donuts. You can find them around here in the local grocery store. They're not the best dessert, but we crave them. So maybe there's some kind of dessert or something funny that you remember growing up with, and you can challenge people to take a picture with those. You can't see their feet. Oh, the headstands, you'll see the Entenmann's are underneath the tree. And the boy and the girl on the floor, where they're located, the state they're in, they don't sell Entenmann's. And so they printed one out and decided to go on a mission to find one. So people can be really creative. If you just find, something of the past, a blast from the past, and take pictures. This year, we're doing everybody's in onesies. That's going to be this year. And we actually have next year's theme, where next year it's going to be painting a picture of your favorite scene in a movie. So like Home Alone, you know, somebody's doing it. Is it Miracle on 34th Street? No, It's a Wonderful Life, with the dad and the little girl next to the Christmas tree with the angel and her wings, you know, things like that, painting that picture. That's going to be our next year's theme. You're welcome to steal any of these ideas if you want to use them, but it definitely brings some cheer and some extra fun festivities if you're not traveling. Okay, how about gift exchanges? I'm going to go ahead and show you this site. It's phenomenal. And this is a great way to do Secret Santas. I don't know, I can't remember if we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but you know, maybe in the past, everybody gave everybody a present. Maybe your children are getting older. Maybe it's just not in the budget this year. And so what if everybody did a Secret Santa? It's a creative way where everyone gets a gift, but it also helps our pockets as well. Elster is a great technologically advanced website. I might have to stop sharing my screen to show you the website. Do you see the website loading?
No.
All right, I'll stop sharing and I will share that website. You log in to your site. You create a gift exchange. So in this case, we're having an association meeting. You can see who the people are that are organizing. Oops, Sarah and Linda, you saw who my Secret Santa person is. Don't tell anybody. But you can add a budget. You can add an RSVP. The greatest thing about it is you can do a wish list. So you can go and you can say all the things that you wished that you had. Super easy way to use Secret Santa in a technologically advanced way. And the last thing that we will talk about is a recipe exchange. So if nothing else, if we are not going to do Facebook, if we're not going to do Zoom, if we're not going to get together, you can do in person. Either you can do a recipe or Christmas card exchange. And that's a way that you can do through snail mail. You know, send out old recipes, family recipes, put together a family recipe book of the holidays and what you remember. I did want to show you a few things about Google Forms. Remind me, do we end at 8:30 or 8?
We didn't put an ending date time on it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let me show you some things that we did on Google Forms here.
So we're going to play the 3 hours of Christmas music in part of our program.
All right, so I'm going to log into Google Forms and then I'll share my screen.
If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box while she's looking.
All right, so do you see Google Forms?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so once you log in, now logging in is a whole nother spiel. Your local library typically has classes that you can take on these Google documents, but once you actually get into Forms, you can start a blank one, really simple. They've made it super easy. So this is your form. You just click, we can call it holiday, whoops, make sure you spell it right, gathering. And then this is kind of your palette. You can choose a theme. I want to do red. You can add different hues if you want. You can add an image. Let's see if they have holidays. It doesn't look like it. You can upload photos that you already have. Let's see if there's any. Let's use the walking one.
You may want to show them what button you hit to get where you just got.
Oh, can you see my cursor?
I can, yes.
Okay.
All of
So
our little pictures are over on the side where you're showing us things to hit.
You're going pretty fast.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So you can click on this painter's palette. And this is where you can pick all of your colors, your downloaded images, your different color schemes are here that you can use, your font style. They keep it very, very basic for easy access. You can put in a description here, you know, December 24th, midnight, actually it would be December 25th, at what time. And then here is where you would add your questions. Like you may want to say, you know, favorite Christmas carol. You may want to, oops, you can make this a short answer. Favorite carol. Whoops. And then you can add another one. Let's say pick your favorite Christmas movie. And you can say White Christmas or Alone. And so you can play a game in ranking. What's your favorite Christmas movie? You could just ask for a name. Sometimes it will guess what type of answer. I don't know if you saw that, but it was on multiple choice and I put name and it automatically changed it to short answer. You may just want email address. See how it changes to short answer? So it's very, very simple to put together. There's not a lot of buttons to push. And these buttons up here, this is your painter's palette on how you can design what you want it to look like. This eye is what other people will see when they log in. So when they log in or when they click the link, this is what it would look like. I thought that's pretty good tip. Linda?
We had a question. Will directions on how to do this be sent to us?
It will not. I'm just showing you a preview. If you are interested in learning about Google Forms, I highly recommend going to your library. The last piece I wanted to show you is send. When you click send, you can add collaborators to it. If I wanted to say Linda is, you know, a sister and she wanted to, you know, I wanted to add her to it. She can be an editor and then you can send it to her and now she has access to it and she can play with it on her end. If you're done, you would click send via and shorten the URL and you can copy this and put it into any email, Facebook site. Now I did want to let you know that we are recording this. So if I'm going too fast or you wanted to go back and watch it again, you can. So anyway, that's how you would send the information out to people. So great use. I'm going to give you some more ideas. I'm going to go to my, let's see. Oh, no, I'm not. So if anybody's interested in more Google information, you know, like I said, contact your library. They've got some great, you know, great tools that you can use. If you ever used Microsoft Word or if you've ever used PowerPoint, Google Docs and Google Forms is much more simpler. So if you've dabbled in those a little bit and you have some familiarity with those, then going and shifting to a Google Drive would be fairly simple for you. If you've never used Microsoft Word, I would highly recommend definitely taking a class. All right. So speaking of shared recipes, I'm going to first ask for questions before we transition to some nutrition information. Any questions? Excellent. All right, Sarah, take it away.
I would love to if I can remember how. Hold on a minute, we're gonna try.
Why don't we all stretch our hands up in the air and do a stretch right quick
Now, is anything showing on the screen?
and fly
So
away?
you've got to share it.
No, it's just you,
Just me, shucks.
which is
Right.
wonderful.
Now I'm standing, so I'm ready to sit.
I bet you
Okay.
are.
I do not see how to get it on there. Okay, hang on. Okay, so you're gonna have to talk me through this. No, you are minimizing the Zoom for the meeting. I say no. Okay. All right, we're gonna wing this without. So we are just going to be looking at our pretty faces when we talk about this.
Sarah, would you like to email them to me real quick and I can put them up?
Oh, that would be great.
Ah.
Hang tight. Oh, shucks,
Sure.
anytime, I can't minimize, so it says I'll stop the Zoom meeting.
You should be able to change your view, change out
I
of
actually
both.
think, are you talking about the recipes that, I mean, you emailed them to us.
No, the little PowerPoint.
You can push escape.
Okay, I did that.
Did it minimize?
Nope.
Oh, well. Well, send it out to us, you know. if you-
Okay, I can do that. Okay.
Okay.
We'll just go ahead and talk for just a little bit. We're talking about the Christmas sweets and the treats. Obviously, we have lots of people with lots of dietary needs. And so we don't want to just take all the sugar out of our life because, I'm a diabetic, but it doesn't bother me that there's sweets out there because I am going to take a bite or two of them. I'll just go ahead and be honest with you. But it's nice that we can send out in an invitation, are there dietary needs when we're sending out for an invitation? And a lot of times it's just close family and friends and you know what those are. But a neat way to do it is whenever you're serving the meal, if you can just put little tags, little tents that will say peanut free, gluten free, low sodium, any of those little tags, and just set them beside the dish. And then, if you're not the one that's serving the whole meals, let's say it's a covered dish, then people can, when they get there, you can offer them a tag. Is there something special about this that may help someone? And so when we think about peanut allergies, gluten-free, low sodium, can't have a lot of red meat, I mean, the list goes on and on. But it seems like the worst ones are milk and eggs and nuts and flour. And what do you have in all of your Christmas things? Some of those. So Linda's going to send out a thing that is going to be absolutely fabulous, and I'll let her tell you about it. But one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to say, well, Sarah's a diabetic. She really shouldn't be eating that. Well, guess what? I know what insulin level I need, and I know if I want to suffer as the night goes on. So if I eat a bite or two of it, I'm in charge of Sarah, okay? Now, if I'm 7 years old and I'm a juvenile diabetic or I'm highly allergic to peanuts, then mom's in charge. But for adults, it's labeled, they make their own decisions, and then you don't say, you don't shout across the room, oh, I made this special thing for you, pointing out that they have a difference compared to others. Some people are very sensitive about that. And so just don't put them on the spot and embarrass them. Now, you can come alongside and say, I made your favorite dessert and I was able to leave, wheat out of it, but I was able to substitute it for rice flour or something. If you want to talk to them in private about it, just don't put them on the spot, okay? So do you all have people in your family that you could give us hints of how you all have handled that situation in the past? Anybody?
So I actually have a nut allergy myself, but there are a couple dishes that my family likes with like walnuts and stuff.
Mhm.
So my mom would oftentimes like split the recipe in half, which is good because I normally got half a recipe all to myself. Everybody else wanted the nuts.
Okay. Makes sense to me, Victoria.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, well, Linda, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, well, thank you, Sarah. And I've actually seen people bring their own food somewhat too to family gatherings like that. And so, they'll make sure that they have something they can enjoy. I am going to send you some information. It's so hard at Christmas and holidays not to eat those foods that you enjoy. But some of us may have to be a little more strict than others, depending upon our health situation. I'm going to be sending you some information on modifying a recipe to make it healthier. That could be done maybe by just substituting ingredients or maybe using that ingredient in a different way. I want to kind of focus on baked goods because those are what we really think about with the holidays, all the cookies and baking and things. You kind of have to be careful with baked goods because those ingredients usually used in baking have an important role. For example, the fat, the butter and all that provides flavor and richness and helps with the texture of the baked goods, makes the food smooth and creamy. Eggs provide structure. They provide volume, act as a thickener. And sugar helps provide flavor a lot of times, obviously, and increases the tenderness of the product. And salt kind of provides flavor. So it's recommended if you're going to take a favorite recipe and modify it, to maybe do that initially before the whole company comes. You may want to make it and taste it, make sure you're happy with that product or whoever you're making it for is happy with that. And also they recommend to just do one modification at a time. If you want to cut back on sugar, do the sugar, but don't do the salt also maybe. Well, maybe not salt's not that bad, but don't do two major modifications. Just do one modification at a time and go from there. That's how you like that particular food. Okay, so I'm going to cover just quickly some things you can do to reduce fat and sugar. Probably some of these things you already know, and you may have some ideas when we finish that you can share. Perhaps you've been doing this for quite some time and you have some ideas. We all know that there are low-fat products out there that you may want to use instead of the regular product. If you have to use sour cream, what's a good substitution for sour cream? Anybody want to unmute and tell me or chat?
Greek yogurt.
Exactly. Yes, fat-free plain yogurt is a good substitute. We see a lot of dips that are made sometimes using mayonnaise. There again, yogurt is a good substitute for that. As far as liquid oil or solid fats, they recommend that you can usually cut that back about a fourth of liquid or oil or whatever it is, cut it back about a fourth. If you're going to use oil to saute foods, typically you can use half of the oil that's recommended. If you're going to have the butter and the margarine, they recommend that you can do that, but they also recommend for the other half to use applesauce, or you can use prunes pureed. That sounds terrible, but I've done that before. It worked out fine. You can buy the baby food, pureed prunes, or you can use mashed bananas, which that would affect the flavor. But if you substitute, if you're going to cut your butter to half. Also, if you're concerned about cholesterol, you may want to use the eggs. You can use 2 egg whites, substitute 2 egg whites for 1 egg, or you can use egg beaters instead of eggs. Okay, reducing sugar. They say it's safe to reduce it up to 1/3 less sugar than what's called for. So 1/3 less sugar. And that would include brown sugar, molasses, corn syrup, those type of sugars too. So you can reduce that. You may want to add cinnamon or vanilla too. That adds sweetness instead of sugar. So using some of your spices, which are always fun at Christmas. And I think salt, we probably know that. I mean, I've totally just omitted the salt. There again, though, if you're going to make yeast bread, you need to keep the salt and the sugar and those ingredients the same, because that's very important for the development of the yeast and the rising of the bread. So be careful if you're doing yeast bread not to do these substitutions. And we can always use spices and herbs instead of salt. How can we add fiber in baking? If we don't want to use all-purpose flour, we don't want to make, which is better, whole wheat or all-purpose flour for fiber? I think y'all know this, whole wheat, right? Yeah, you can substitute, if the recipe calls for all-purpose flour, you can substitute up to half with the whole wheat. So you may want to cut that in half. You can also add, fruit or whole oats, those kind of things. So if we can add fiber, that's really good, especially if you're diabetic too. Can help as far as that, the insulin. So think about that. Have fun, be creative, and think about ways that perhaps you can substitute and make dishes a little bit healthier. The recipes that you've already received, it sounds like, from what Victoria said. There's some that's diabetic. Beware of sugar-free products, because a lot of those, even though they're sugar-free, the carbohydrates could be high. So you can't always trust those. But you have some diabetic recipes and gluten-free and some other recipes there that you may want to try. But you know your situation better than anybody. And it may be on that Thanksgiving Day, you're going to splurge. That's your decision. That's fine. Maybe just plan for that, or maybe just have smaller portions for your health. So, but anyway, it's just something to think about, be prepared, plan, and hopefully that you'll just enjoy that like everyone else and have just a great time eating. So
One
those are
thing,
just, go ahead.
sorry. One thing I want to add to that, I never thought I'd go back to a buffet bar during COVID, but I had to go for a meeting. The great thing was they had the gloves there. So when you went up to the buffet bar, you put on a set of gloves, because you think about how many times those spoons drop back down into the dish. Well, yeah, we think about, oh golly, all those germs at that buffet bar, but we don't think about it if we're having our family in for Christmas.
True.
And so I'm thinking that would not be a bad thing to purchase, and let everybody put that glove on and go down through there and serve their family. Yes, they may have just washed their hands, but the cough always comes, or the sneeze, when you're not planning on it. And then just use those. And then I would also be brazen, and I would go ahead and put hand sanitizer out throughout the house and at the buffet line and at the drink line and at the thing. Just make it easy for people if you're going to have them in for COVID reasons. I don't think we can stress enough how dangerous this is. And of course, we've got Sherry Montgomery on here, and she does Jefferson County and Hamlin counties. She's the director of their health department. So you can just imagine what she is thinking right now. Sherry, do you have some things you would like to add as far as food safety?
Well, really, the transmission, of course, is not going to be occurring through the food itself, but through the service of the food and the togetherness of the occasion. So that's probably where the biggest risk comes. But I wholeheartedly agree with the use of the glove. I think that is very effective. And of course, frequent hand washing, but just the togetherness nature of holiday events that go with the eating, and the fact that our masks have to be down to eat, those are the two big factors, I think, that just put us at risk, is that it's just, we can't really social distance, and we can't keep our mask up, for the eating occasions. But
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I did want to follow up with, now's the time to start making some decisions and prepping and preparing everyone. So if you do decide, and I was just talking to one of my friends today who just called her mama to let her know, Mama, I don't think you can do Thanksgiving this year. And she was okay with it. Now she is going to do a virtual gathering, and they're going to prep and start working on that now. And they are going to have a few people at the house. But definitely I encourage you to really dig into everything I talked about today and really think hard that you can still have a very memorable Thanksgiving and Christmas or any other holiday and do it virtually. I did want to leave off one more extra added, and you've seen this in the news and whatnot, is people doing drive-bys. You know, have them go to the window so you can still at least see everyone. We just did that for Halloween. We were in quarantine and we had friends throwing candy at us, driving by. I had 3 children's birthdays during quarantine and stay-at-home orders, and we did drive-by parades and we decorated our front yard. And so there are ways that we can safely socially distance and still keep our entire family safe. Because let's be truthful, if you go over to grandma's house for Thanksgiving, she is going to hug the kids. She is going to kiss them. And that's just reality. So we want to make sure we're protecting them.
And we're going to send you a lot of good stuff. We have a handout on holidays and COVID, and I just received that recently, and 2 ideas that were shared I kind of liked. I thought that's kind of interesting. It says prepare foods ahead of time so that people do not congregate in the kitchen while food's prepared. Make sure everything's ready when they get there. And it says use the time for eating and then go home. A lot of people eat and watch television and sports and that kind of thing and hang around. So you may want to make, some guidelines there of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And also it talked about some other things, disposable plates, condiments or individual condiments. We don't share things like that even at the table. So anyway, we'll send that to you, but it is something to really think about. And Jan, I'm so proud of Jan. She's chatting very well now online. Mentioned using a Post-it note on a recipe, which is a great idea. If you did make a substitution, it was not successful, then you may need to make a note of that so you won't do it again. Great. Any other thoughts on that, or on the recipes or gatherings? Somebody mentioned outside Thanksgiving. That's a great idea if possible. The weather cooperates. That's a good idea too. Anything else? Well, if not, I'm going to turn it back to Mary Beth, I believe, for the close of the evening. But we look forward to seeing you again Thursday.
Absolutely. We gave you guys a ton of information. I am interested on feedback and, interested if you guys end up, email Sarah, if you guys end up doing something virtually. It's great to share and see. So we are going to meet again on Thursday. We encourage you to invite your friends. We'd love to have more participants as well, and invite your family if they're wanting to get some more information, particularly with making a list and checking it twice and getting some shipping and shopping tips this year on a budget. And we'll also be discussing gifts from the home and making homemade gifts, and sometimes they mean the most, are priceless. So I encourage you on Thursday, again at 7 o'clock. And we look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you again. Sarah, Linda, anything else?
Nope.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, you can ask them Thursday night too. All right.
Good night.
Have a good evening. Good night. Thank you.